Sound okay? All right, we've got a live stream, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so hello everyone, Neil McKeeja, Montgomery County Commissioner and Chair of the Board of Elections. Wanted to share that I'm incredibly proud of this team here in Montgomery County, which delivered on a safe, secure, and accessible election for all of our residents. I can tell you now, we still have about 10,000 votes to tabulate. However, that would absolutely put us in a range where we have cast more ballots in Montgomery County, about 518,000, than ever before in the history of the county. So we worked very hard to make sure this election was more accessible than ever. And that work showed thanks to our voter services team, which expanded our satellite offices, made it easier to vote by mail, including through our mobile satellite office, translating our materials into 10 different languages. More than ever, the citizens of Montgomery County were able to exercise their right to vote and make their voices heard. Our election workers worked tirelessly for the last several weeks and really months, as well as, of course, the last few days where many of them did not sleep. People were working overnight last night to tabulate the ballots, and that process continues today at the warehouse and will continue in the weeks to come. So a couple of things that I want to share with everyone that might be important news. So there's approximately 10,000 ballots left, and that's about 7,709 mail-in ballots. There are approximately 2,000 military and overseas ballots that we will continue to receive until the 12th, and a number of provisional ballots for which we do not have an estimate currently, but we should, and we'll provide that update as soon as we do. So the current results for the candidates is that Montgomery County on the presidential election cast 308,264 votes for Kamala Harris for president and 193,400 votes for Donald Trump, with approximately 5,000 ballots for third-party candidates, out of a total 507,010 votes. Again, that's not counting about 10,000 votes that remain to be counted, including military and overseas ballots that we continue to receive. Now, the United States Senate race has not been called yet. We expect the same number of ballots. In that case, 10,000 still outstanding. Currently, we have 506,201 votes cast in the Senate race, 303,289 for Bob Casey, and 191,602 votes for Dave McCormick, with about 5,000 or 6,000 for third-party candidates. So the work will continue in the days to come to count the outstanding ballots, as well as a recreation process for any damaged ballots that's observed by officials from both political parties, and that process is ongoing now. We'll be having a meeting on Friday, November 8th, of the Board of Elections to kick off tabulation and reconciliation. That will verify the results of the election. For example, that there were no more votes cast than recorded than the number of voters, that there were not more votes than voted ballots, that all ballots are accounted for, and that all the results are accurate. We'll also adjudicate those ballots with write-in ballots, with write-in candidates and ambiguous marks. We have no reason to think that that there should be any issues. We have no reason to think that our audits, which will continue will raise any issues, but we'll provide the results of those when they're complete. On Monday, November 11th, party and candidate representatives are permitted to review the provisional ballots and register any challenges. On Tuesday, November 12th, the county reports unofficial results to the state. The state will determine the necessity of a statutory recount. I can't say whether that will happen, but if there is a race that could happen, it could be the U.S. Senate race. That recount would be set by the Department of State, and during this period, Voter Services also conducts our election code required audits. On November 14th, the Board of Elections will convene for provisional ballot challenges. On November 19th or earlier, if tabulation is complete, results are delivered to the board and the board will sign the first certification document. That begins a 5-day window where parties are able to file for recounts. And no later than November 25th, barring a recount, will we convene to certify the election and send official results to the Department of State. So a couple of things that I want to note that we noticed from the results of this election that are important and reflect the great work of our voter services team. One, as I said earlier, 518,000 ballots out of Montgomery County would be a record. We've never had that many people vote in our county. And we've also saw that the mail-in return rate was dramatically higher than what we saw in even the most recent election earlier this year. In 2024, the return rate was 76% mail-in ballots being sent to the county. The current number on the mail-in return rate is 89%. The error of those ballots is less than half a percentage point. In the beginning of this year, we predicted about 2,000 to 3,000 ballots could have errors that would result in them not being counted. Instead, thanks to the work of our communications team, the instructions in our ballot, and much of the work that was done to help people cure their ballots through our satellite offices, we're left with only 866 mail-in ballots that had deficiencies, which is less than half a percentage point. And many of those individuals may have voted provisionally, which we'll get a better sense of as we continue. There are still 509 people who need to verify their identification to make sure their votes count. That can continue until November 11th, and they can easily submit that form online. It's on our website, and it can be signed digitally. So if anyone has received a message from the county, either by letter or if we have your email or phone number, you can go to moncovotes.com to fill out the voter identification confirmation form and make sure your vote gets counted. So none of this would have happened if we didn't have our tremendous voter services staff who did incredible amount of work to enfranchise our residents and make it easier for them to vote. We also had 2,800 poll workers who managed the polls yesterday without any major incidents, and our judges of elections, our constables, the sheriff's deputies who picked up all of our mail-in ballots on a daily basis in a secure way, also without any major incidents. Our district attorney's office and detectives who ensured that all of our voters, our election officials were kept safe. Our county security team who worked hand in hand to do the same. Our IT department, which I should share, I hadn't been aware of, but had set up the security infrastructure to keep us safe from cyber attacks. And it was the case that we received over 1 million attempts at intrusion to our county network, and 600,000 of those came from Russia and Belarus. And we successfully protected our IT system from those attacks thanks to the work of our IT and our security team. So this Board of Elections has been very intentional about our goal to enfranchise as many Monco voters as possible during this election. We were proactive about making the general election the most accessible. election in the history of Montgomery County. We worked hard towards that goal and we leaned on an incredible community of civically minded people to achieve it. So I want to thank everyone who was a part of that process because we did in fact achieve that goal and Monco voters made their voice heard. Happy to take any questions. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, so when do you expect the 10,000 ballots to be finished being counted?
So the provisionals will take some time. We have until the 11th for the overseas and military ballots. So, that's essentially the timeframe where we'll get those narrowed down. In terms of the 7,000 mail-ins, there's a recreation process which is ongoing right now, and we'll continue to provide periodic updates as those get counted. Anybody got anything else?
Can you go over is it normal for that many possible hacks from Russia or wherever that happen compared to other past elections?
So it's
Russia and Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, sorry to the people of Belarus. It was Bulgaria. So is it normal?
Like that being that high of a number, it seems high to me.
So we haven't done the full comparison or assessment, but it does seem quite high, and that was alarming. But thankfully we have a firewall that was successful, and we have no reason to believe that the IT system was, intruded upon. So we'll have to do a, continued assessment of what was attempted and what we can continue to do as a county to make sure that our system is safe. But for the voters' sake, there's no reason to believe that interfered with the results or the tabulation of the election. Okay, all right, well, thank you all.